Number 4, we're still in planning, guys. We're still in planning. You guys want to work. I want to go through flows. Now, in developing our schedule and doing all that stuff, we're going to have certain situations where we go, might not be the best thing for us to do it. Let's get somebody who's an expert to do this thing, okay? We might transfer certain activities over there, and we might have to use procurement, okay? So when we get into procurement, there are 3 procurement processes in this flow. Our flows up to this point have been going down. Hold your horses. We're going sideways now, guys, all right? So plan procurement, conduct procurements, and control procurements. Now, each one of these, there are 2 things that are accomplished. Like, what are we in the game to do? That's the first question we always ask. What are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to accomplish 2 things for each process. Let's see what they are. Now, for the first one, plan procurement, we got to have an overall strategy and approach for how we do procurements in our company. Okay? That's an overall strategy and approach. You know, it's usually not the project manager that signs, negotiates deals, does all this detail. You're working with who? The procurement people, the legal people, the accounting people, whoever. All right, there are levels. So that's what we're doing. We're saying, what is the process by which we are going to do these things? What's our strategy? And secondly, we're going to prepare ourselves to select the perfect contractor later. Okay, so what's all the details we have to get ready so that we can do that at a later time? This is a legal document, so we got to have our T's and I's crossed, right? All right, so go back to the approach and strategy. Right off the bat, how are we going to deal with all procurements? What's the how-to manual for all the procurements? Procurements is a no mess around neighborhood, all right? We can't wing these things. That's how we go to either jail permanently or we get in trouble with our companies, all right? So we do not want to go to court. We want to follow the processes that the company has, all right? Now, additionally, how we get into the procurement process flow here is we've made a make or buy decision during planning our project. We've said it makes more sense to go and acquire resources, materials, support, whatever, from the outside. And we're going to work that into our schedule. All right. Now, so we've made a make buy decision. Cool. Now we have a strategy for that individual thing that we're purchasing. Now, if you're just getting a couple little labor, you're doing time and materials contract, that's one kind of strategy. If you're doing an overall, 1/3 of the assembly for this big thing that you're producing, that's a different kind of strategy for how we're going to do it. So we can have a unique strategy for each individual procurement. Makes sense, right? Now, as we go through, let's get ready to think through what do we have to do to prepare to select the contractors. Now, the first thing, to get bids in and select bids, we got to tell them exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. Legal document, let's be specific, all right? So we're working on a procurement statement of work. Those are the nouns of what we're going to get from the people that we're purchasing it from. Great. Now, we need to create, we can't just go out and say, hey, make us this, please guys do it. We got to have informal legal documents, bid documents, okay? Now, we got to think through, is an RFI, information, quote, RFQ, or proposal. What are we looking for? What is the format we're going to get it back in? All right, RFI, Q, or P. Additionally, what's the vehicle, the contract vehicle that we're going to use? Cost reimbursable, fixed costs, or time and materials. Just makes a difference on the different scenario that you have for what you're trying to do. So we got to make those decisions, okay? Now, once we have that nailed down, we're going to build these documents, fill in the details, work with people to build them out, and we're ready to go almost. Now, what else do we have to do? We got to say, how are we going to make a decision? We're hoping that a lot of people bid in. They're great. But how are we going to make a decision on what's best for us? Okay? So we got to ask ourselves, what are the criteria that we're going to make a decision? And that's source selection criteria. It could be, we don't care about the cost, make sure that's the highest quality and it's fast. Or we don't care about those other things and we just got to get it done at the lowest cost. Or a little bit of each. All right? So every situation's different. So we got to define out what the scenario is here. Source selection criteria. That's going to be the means by which, the lens by which we look at these bids as they come in to make a decision. Awesome. We're preparing. All right. Now, the other thing is we could have an independent cost estimate. We could put the documents out to a third party. We could say, bid it like you're bidding it for real. Give us what you think it costs, what the timing is, what the risk, whatever. And we get an independent cost estimate. That's going to help us evaluate the bids as we come in to see if they are, relatively on pace. Super good. Okay. That really helps. Now, that's the first one. All right. Now, as we move over to the second process, we're doing two things. We are going out, getting the bids, selecting the ideal contractor. Sounds good. All right. Then getting them to work. It's in executing. That's what we're doing. We're getting them going. Awesome. So let's go back to ideal contractor. All right. You got to advertise. They got to know about this. Put it on the website, trade publication, send it out to our most commonly used vendors, whatever it is. We got to get attention to this and bring them in. Now, as they advertise, we might have a bidder conference. We might have to go through and, hey, we really want you to understand these details. Bring everybody in, objectively give them clear information, no playing favorites, no partnering or anything. You know, we get questions asked to us, we answer them, we present information. Everybody gets the same information so they can make realistic, great bids for us, we hope. All right, and so when they get the bids in, we evaluate them. Source selection criteria, you know, the cost estimates that we had, we evaluate them. We're going to make a decision. We pick one. All right, now the fun starts. And we negotiate. Somebody negotiates, like contracts or the legal people or the procurement people, whoever it is, negotiate, cut the deal, get it done with that, you know, selected seller down there. Now, the selected seller, we sign the deal. It's a legally binding arrangement right now. They get rolling, Jack. So we have an agreement and they start working on the project. Awesome. Per the letter of the law that we laid down. Now, they're working, they're going. What do we need to do next? Okay. What we need to do next is we need to figure out how they're doing, right? Just like we do in any other monitoring controlling process, we evaluate progress, plan versus actual. So we evaluate progress, and then when we get to the end and we accept everything, we're going to close it out. Now, as we evaluate, how would we do that? We do inspections, we audit. They might be called out in the contract. We might just go out there occasionally. Whatever it is, we're going to go out there and look. We're going to check. We're going to verify. We're going to see. We're going to investigate, right? We can do different types of analysis, just like we do in monitoring controlling, guys. We could do performance analysis, EVA, earned value analysis. We could do trend analysis. We're going to understand deeper. And also, we're going to have problems. Occasionally, hope not, but maybe we have problems. We're going to know how we deal with the claims. That's called claims administration in the PMBOK, okay? They're going to say, number one, let's talk it out. Let's negotiate. Let's figure out a way through this conflict. But if we can't get through that before we go to court, let's go through alternative dispute resolution. Now, that's a legally defined process that we put in the contract about how we're going to mediate or work through the conflict that we have. Hopefully that works, but if it doesn't, that's why God made lawyers. All right, and so the lawyers are going to smile, we're going to frown because we're going to court, we're going to sue, we're going to do all this other stuff. It's not going to be great, but that's why we have them, okay? So that's how we go through claims. Now, when we get to the end of this procurement, we've looked at it, we evaluate it, we've got to walk through it and make sure that we're okay. And we also, with everything they give us, we also have to update all our procurement documents, make sure those are all updated. And in order for it to be closed, we got to do just like we're going to do with the sponsor. They walk us through it. They show us what they've done. We evaluate it against our statement of work and our contract. If we don't accept it, claims. If we go, we work it out. If we do accept it, we accept the deliverable, sign off, make sure all the paperwork's done, everything's closed out per the contract. We bring it back on our site and we make sure everybody's paid, per the contract. Probably be paying it, we just close out all the payments and we close the procurement. Now, also, we'd update that requirements, traceability matrix, etc. as we go through because that's just part of the schedule that we just completed. So that's the procurement flow. That's it. Pretty easy, right? And that's awesome.